Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for next week's 10 days. So today's second video, that will take us to around the 18th of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. I'll have a look at CFS V2 for December at the end of the video as well. We'll begin though with the flooding situation. So we've got, unfortunately, 6 severe flood warnings, and we'll talk about that after yesterday's deluge across parts of northern England to start the video. I'll just say that JMA Friday has been released. That's the month-end look ahead, taking us into the first week of December. So it looks like it'll be a very unsettled month to come, which probably exacerbates the flooding situation, unfortunately. Starting quite cold as well, but have a look at JMA Friday and see what's going on there. So we're going to start off with the flood warnings for England. This is from the government, of course, and from the Environment Agency. So I'll leave a link to this in the description at YouTube, of course. So at the moment, we've got 6 severe flood warnings, which means that there is a danger to life with those 6 severe flood warnings. We've got 83 flood warnings, so immediate action is required with those. There's 105 flood alerts, which means flooding is possible and be prepared. And then there's 80 flood warnings that are no longer in force. And of course, what we have to deal with is the severe flood warnings. That's these red areas just here, I believe, across parts of northern England, those red triangles. So that includes the River Don at Barnby Dun, also River Don at Bentley, River Don at Kirk Bramwith, River Don at Kirk Sandal, River Don at South Bramwith, and River Don at Willow Bridge Caravan Site. There is a threat to life in those areas, so very, very serious situation. And then we've got the 83 flood warnings where immediate action is required. All of these rivers and sections of rivers just here looking very, very serious. Obviously, I can't go through all of those, but as I'm going to leave a link to this page in the description at YouTube, so if you think you could be affected by flooding, by these flood warnings, then have a look and see whether your area, whether your river and section of that river is included. Very, very serious. It was a real deluge across parts of northern England, particularly Yorkshire, yesterday. Very, very serious rainfall, with some places sort of having over 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 millimetres of rain in some areas. Incredible and phenomenal amounts of rainfall yesterday. It's a much quieter day today. We have still got heavy showers on this eastern side, then more particularly towards coastal areas. But actually, in some radar picture, there is a lot of dry weather on offer today, which will hopefully allow things to subside a little bit with these river levels, although tomorrow there's going to be more rain coming in across parts of the country. More about that in a moment. And the overall weather pattern does still look unsettled as we're going further on into November. So this is the precipitation type forecast from the Weather Outlook for the Arpege model, starting with today. Again, we can see we've got this rain running down the east side in form of showers running down these eastern coast areas. But actually, there is quite a bit of dry weather around today. So through the course of this afternoon this evening, most showers even on the east coast tend to die out. It becomes mainly dry and will turn frosty overnight. Then by the end of the night, though, we've got more rain coming in across Northern Ireland and into the Irish Sea, and that pushes eastwards across Wales and southwest England through tomorrow morning. Now, there was a bit of suggestion that there could be a little bit of a snow event with this across high ground. If it got far enough north, southwest Scotland and northwest England, but this is actually being trended southwards at the moment, so it looks like rain is mostly through Wales, southwest England tomorrow morning. There could be a little bit of snow over the Welsh mountains, but otherwise it looks like it's primarily just cold rain that's moving in from off the Atlantic, and that and then that pushes into the Midlands, central, southern parts of England through tomorrow afternoon. It is struggling to get up to those flooded areas in northern England, so hopefully won't be too bad, although by tomorrow evening it looks like it is beginning to push towards sort of Yorkshire and into the North Midlands as well. Again, there's a suggestion of snow over the Welsh mountains. Otherwise, it's not really indicating much of a way of snowfall. Just looks like going to be cold rain coming up once again. Then we go through into Sunday. That moves southwards, and things are drier on Sunday again. That's going to be another drier interlude. Sunday night into Monday, in comes the next area of low pressure and its weather front. That brings the rain risk further north. There is a great risk of snow with that across Scotland. So Sunday night into Monday morning, there could be some snow across Scotland, primarily again high ground, but maybe a few flakes to lower levels. Could be some snow over Pennines as well. You'll notice on Monday morning. That rain pushes southwards and eastwards, gets out of the way during Monday itself, leaving us with sunshine and showers, and then we keep those sunshine and shower type conditions going into Tuesday. So how we are Persh's forecast things. This is the high resolution DWD model. So let's have a quick look at that, shall we? And we see that, again, those showers are dying out in the east today. It turns dry, cold and frosty overnight. Rain then piling in from the west during tomorrow, the early hours of tomorrow morning. Into Wales by 9 o'clock. You could be getting some snow over the Welsh mountains, and then carrying on eastwards into the Midlands. Again, it is primarily rain, but maybe a little bit of sleet mixed in here and there. It's touch and go. You might see the odd wet flake falling within these outbreaks of rain. But it is primarily rain away from any sort of high ground by the look of it. And then the rain pushes away sort of overnight Saturday and into Sunday, leaving us with a drier day on Sunday. And then in comes the next area of low pressure from the Atlantic overnight Sunday into Monday. Again, the suggestion that could bring some snow to Scotland. Again, primarily high ground, but could be a little bit coming down to lower levels. Some in towards the north of England. Again, that would be mainly over high ground, I would have thought, but there could be a bit of a bit of accumulating snow across parts of Scotland first thing on Monday morning. Otherwise, it's outbreaks of rain that clears out away through Monday, and then it's a case of sunshine and showers really as we go through into Tuesday. And then this one is Euro 4 from Weather Online. So again, starting 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, rain is into west, otherwise dry, cold and frosty overnight tonight, and then we go through tomorrow morning and we bring that rain down into Wales and southwestern parts of England. Suggestion of a little bit of snow possible over Welsh mountains, otherwise it's primarily rain that we're looking at there. And then through the afternoon, that rain pushes into the Midlands, central southern parts of England, a little bit further south compared to the other 2 miles, I think, with this rain. So it really is for the Midlands, southern, southeastern England. It doesn't really get to the Yorkshire area with Euro 4. And then it all pushes away overnight, Saturday into Sunday, leaving us dry, cold and frosty for Sunday morning, and probably sunny, a drier day until that rain with potential for snow across Scotland moves in on Sunday night. So I don't think we're going to need to do snow watch for tomorrow. I was contemplating a couple of days ago chance of doing snow watch for tomorrow, but at the moment I don't think there's enough there really to warrant snow watch. So the wait for the first snow watch for the winter of 2019-2020 continues for now. I'm sure we will get a snow watch going before too much longer. Right, so extending out beyond sort of the weekend and early next week, we'll have a look at the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. We're looking at Dorking in the southeast today. So the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Dorking. And by the way, this is another suggested location for this section of the video. If you'd like to have your local town or city feature within this section of the video, then you can email us at gaussweathers@gmail.com. or you can ask us through the comment section at YouTube or Gazovids or on our social media accounts. So various ways of getting hold of us. So if you want to have your local town or city featured in this part of the video, then there are plenty of ways to let us know. So we begin colder than average at Dorking at the moment. We're going to stay cold for the next week. Dates on the bottom of the chart. So certainly for the next week to 10 days, temperatures are below average even into the second half of November up to day 10. Going a little bit further out, it does look as though temperatures then start to stage a little bit of a recovery. This was showing up on JMA Friday as well. Weeks 1, weeks 2, generally quite cold. Weeks 3, 4, see a little bit of a temperature recovery beginning to take place. So it may go milder as we run in towards the final week of November. The main story, though, again, is going to be precipitation. I think plenty of rainfall spikes coming up pretty much from beginning to end on the ensemble. There's a couple of, it's a drier day today, and for the southeast, probably dry until evening tomorrow. Excuse me. But then after that, it looks like there is going to be plenty of rain to come. Lots of rainfall spikes. So the deluge is not over. The deluge is set to continue, I'm afraid, as we go into the second half of November. Plenty of rain to come. The only difference is that temperatures begin to lift up a little bit. So temperature anomalies from the 8th to the 16th of November. Below average. It's going to be a colder than average week coming up for the UK, for Ireland, through most of Western Europe. This has been the case with these anomaly charts for quite a while now. The northwest looking probably cold and average. Southern and eastern parts of Europe and southeast Europe much warmer there. So again, going to be great balancing acts of the weather. If the north and west of Europe is doing one thing, the south and the east of Europe tends to do the opposite. And in this case, it's the south and the east of Europe that's warmer than average. The north and the west of Europe are colder than average. Precipitation anomalies look like that. A real north-south split for the UK from the 8th to the 16th of November. So for Scotland, it's actually a drier than average week coming up. For England and Wales, it looks wetter than average, and particularly so for more southern and southeastern parts of the country. That's how the GFS is looking for Monday. So on Monday, we bring this next low in from off the Atlantic. That's the one that produces rain or potentially some snow for Scotland on Sunday night and into Monday morning. And then that low pressure clears out of the way as going to the middle of next week, leaving us in a cold and showery northwesterly wind. But keep an eye on this low that's sitting close to Iceland. Look what that does as we go into Thursday. Dives southwards across the UK, bringing probably more rain and potentially some hill snow with it. Then that gets out of the way and we pull in this east to northeasterly wind. Now this is not a particularly cold wind because it's actually dragging in some quite mild air from eastern parts of Europe in terms of the upper air temperatures, but on the surface it will bring in lots of cloud, lots of murk, and it will be a pretty raw sort of east northeast wind, especially on those exposed eastern coastal areas. Keep those easterlies going as we go into the weekend of the 16th and the 17th of November. They'll bring showers into the east. Again, it's not particularly cold east, so I don't think there'll be much in the way of snow, if any at all. Just going to feel very, very grim in those eastern northeasterly winds blowing in off the North Sea, probably bringing lots and lots of cloud and pretty grim weather. Moving up to day 10, we finally start to get rid of that low pressure and a ridge begins to build in from the northwest. That would turn us drier anyway, and we would start to see probably a return of overnight frost. And then in a more extended range with this GFS run, it all starts to go rather slack, and that's how we look as we get to the end of it, which is Sunday 24th of November. So more of an influence from high pressure, especially for southern and eastern parts of the country, milder with southwesterly winds in the north and the west. So it's having a go at re-establishing a milder westerly flow, which would be in line with some of the long-range output we're seeing at the moment. A recovery in temperature and milder winds coming in from the west-southwest as we go towards the final week of November. But that's a very long way out. It's over 2 weeks away, so wouldn't necessarily take that too seriously. GM looks like that, so rain or hail snow moving in across the country on Monday, and then showers and cold west-northwesterly winds through Tuesday and Wednesday. Here comes the next low diving southwards across the country through Thursday and Friday. That brings outbreaks of rain with it, particularly to western areas, actually I would have thought with that. And then the winds are turning into the east or northeast behind it. So as we get through to Saturday the 16th of November, again we've got low pressure as a trough sitting to our south and southeast, and we're pulling in these east or northeast winds, which are not particularly cold, but will be raw and cloudy, especially for exposed eastern coastal areas. By the time we get through to day 10, which is Monday the 18th of November, high pressure to begin to ridge back in across the country, bringing a return to drier, but also dry conditions, but also probably overnight frost and maybe fog patches. Then we go through to the ECMWF, looking like that. So Monday we've got rain and snow across Scotland, moving eastwards across the country, leaving us cold and windy for Tuesday and Wednesday with sunshine and showers, particularly in the north where they could be wintry. Then in comes that low pressure from Greenland and Iceland through Thursday. That will bring a new bout of rain with it. And then as that slips southwards, again turns the winds into the east. And there we go into next weekend, 16th of November, bringing in east or northeasterly winds. You might look about it and think those winds should be cold, but actually they're not. They're dragging up quite warm air from eastern parts of Europe in terms of the upper air temperatures doing something a bit like that. So the source actually from south of east with those easterly winds. Nevertheless, it won't be particularly warm on the surface. They will bring in lots of cloud and murk, and they will feel cold as the wind runs in off the North Sea, particularly so for exposed eastern coastal areas. Into the more extended range up to day 10. Again, just a suggestion that we start to build in a little bit of higher pressure from the north by day 10, which is Monday the 18th of November, and that probably brings us back to frosty nights and maybe some fog patches as well. This is the precipitation type forecast from that ECM run at meteo.com. So it's a drier day today. We have got showers in the east, as we've already established, but they are going to be dying down through the afternoon. Overnight, going to be turning dry, cold, and frosty. Then tomorrow, in comes that low pressure from the Atlantic. It does just a little bit more in way of snow through parts of Wales with that wet weather tomorrow morning. I think it's a little bit overdone. I think it's mainly over the Welsh mountains that there'll be any snow tomorrow, but we shall see. The rain pushes through the Midlands into central southern parts of England tomorrow afternoon, bringing a bit of a soaker of an afternoon down in the south and the southeast. Feel very sorry for anyone who's canvassing for the election in this weather, but then that's the problem with having an election, of course, in November or December. The weather is going to be pretty grim. So as we go through into Saturday night into Sunday, still raining across the south. Again, just a suggestion of a little bit of hail snow over the Welsh mountains. And then as we go through into Sunday, that rain clears away to the south. Sunday will be a drier day, quite cold. In comes the next batch of wet weather, though, Sunday into Monday. That's bringing snow, perhaps even to low levels, across parts of Scotland there. Through Sunday night into Monday morning. That could be a bit of a snow event for parts of Scotland. Rain further south, and that pushes away southwards and eastwards through Monday afternoon, leaving us with sunshine and wintry showers in the north and the west as we go through Tuesday and indeed into Wednesday as well. And then in comes that next low pressure that's diving southwards into the second half next week, bringing more rain, potentially some hail snow mixed in with that as well. And then as the low clears away to the southeast at the end of next week, we start to pull in these east or northeasterly winds, which aren't particularly cold winds, but they will bring lots of cloud, murk with them, and will feel cold, especially on the east coast, and will bring rain, potentially quite heavy rain, to northern parts of England into the end of next week. And then running up towards day 10, things finally start to turn a little bit drier under that slight ridge of high pressure. These are the options are on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, getting us to the 18th of November. So we have 13 members of the ECM ensembles that have high pressure to our northeast, a Scandinavian high, low pressure to the west and south. They're going to be bringing in pretty cool easterly winds. 13 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control run that has high pressure again over Scandinavia and a deep trough of low pressure pressure over and to the south of the UK. They're going to be very wet, potentially for England and Wales anyway, and quite cool too. 11 members of the ECMWF with low pressure to the south and to the west. Scandinavian high winds probably coming in from the east to some degree. We've also got 8 members of the ECMWF with low pressure out to west. They're going to be very unsettled, of course. And then 6, including the operational run, that's taking that low pressure away to the south and building this ridge to the northeast. Winds sort of east-southeasterly, with those, just 6 of those doing that though. Interesting that most options do have high pressure over Scandinavia though in 10 days time. In 2 weeks, this is the 23rd of November, low pressure is over the top of the country, very unsettled with those, probably a bit milder, winds from the southwest. 18 with the Scandinavian high taking over, they're just bringing in easterly winds, could be quite chilly, maybe a little bit cold, and then 11 with low pressure up to the north and trying to re-establish more of a westerly flow with those ones. So a bit inconclusive, but maybe you would say by the time you get 3 to 2 weeks away, the emphasis could be shifting a little bit more towards the milder side of things, with westerlies beginning to re-establish. Finally, this is how the CFS V2 is looking for December. This is a 700 millibar height anomaly for December 2019. At the moment, it's looking still very unsettled, but also mild. Below average heights out to the north and the west. Above average heights are down to our southwest, and would be bringing quite a long fetch southwesterly wind. So obviously still very unsettled. Low pressure is the main player with that. The only difference is that the wind direction is shifting to the southwest, so very mild and also potentially very wet. Temperature anomalies of the CFS V2 for December are very substantially milder than average. And precipitation anomalies for December, they're quite weak as they always are, but they do hint at being rather wetter than average. I think on the scenario that it's forecasting in terms of the 700 millibar height on, we would expect a very wet December, but potentially also very mild. But then again, I'm not sure if it's really forecast this cold November that we've got at the moment particularly well. And we did have a colder than average month in October too, and that wasn't forecast all that well by the CFS either. So I don't think we need to take that overly serious at this stage. But it is a suggestion, more importantly than temperature, is precipitation. It is a suggestion that we could have another wet month on our hands, unfortunately, next month, and that will just get the flooding situation going even more critical probably. So worrying times for anybody who's close to a river or a stream with all of this rain going on. Anyway, that's it for your videos for today. So I don't think I'm going to do snow watch. There's not enough there really to warrant doing snow watch. So the wait for the first snow watch of winter continues. Tomorrow though, we're going to have a very, very busy day coming up, so we're going to start off with weekend forecast, of course, and then we're going to have a week 10-day video update as well tomorrow, and then on Sunday, so it's a very busy weekend I should have said, on Sunday we've got the 11th winter update. We'll also have another Christmas update, and with all of that going on, I've also got to do a live stream that will discuss the winter update, and that will be on YouTube between 5 and 6 o'clock. We'll have a bit of a chat about that winter update and the overall weather conditions. There's a lot to talk about with weather at the moment, so no doubt we'll have a bit of a chat about it between 5 and 6 o'clock on Sunday evening on the Gals Office YouTube channel. Right, that's it for now though, and thanks for watching.